When Aaron Judge walked into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's private office in Los Angeles, looking for a simple gym partnership to improve his off-season training, neither superstar could have predicted that their handshake deal would accidentally make them partners in one of the biggest money laundering operations on the West Coast. Judge had been frustrated with traditional training facilities for months. As baseball's biggest star, he needed specialized equipment and privacy that regular gyms couldn't provide. When his agent mentioned that The Rock was developing a revolutionary training facility with cutting-edge technology, it seemed like the perfect solution. "Aaron, brother," The Rock said, his trademark charisma filling the room as they shook hands. "This isn't just a gym, it's the future of athletic performance. State-of-the-art recovery pods, AI-powered biomechanics analysis, nutritionist-designed meal prep. We're talking about a facility that will redefine how elite athletes train." What neither of them realized was that the silent investor funding their dream facility had very different plans for the business. The partnership moved quickly. Judge invested $2 million, The Rock matched it, and within 4 months, Peak Performance LA was the most exclusive training facility in California. NBA superstars, NFL legends, and Olympic athletes were paying premium rates for access to technology that seemed almost futuristic. Little did Judge know that the astronomical membership fees and constant cash transactions were exactly what made the gym perfect for activities that had nothing to do with fitness. Judge loved training at Peak Performance. The facility was everything The Rock had promised: revolutionary equipment, complete privacy, and results that improved his game dramatically. He often worked out late at night when the gym was officially closed, using his partner key card to access the facility after midnight. What he didn't expect to find during one of these late-night sessions would shatter his trust in his new business partner and threaten everything he'd worked for in his baseball career. It was a Tuesday night in November when Judge decided to grab some equipment he'd left in the facility's back storage area. As he approached the rear offices, he heard voices coming from a room that was supposed to be empty. Through a crack in the door, he saw something that made his blood run cold. 3 men in expensive suits were seated around a table covered with stacks of cash, laptop computers, and what appeared to be fake identification documents. One of them was writing checks with names Judge recognized, current Peak Performance members, including several of his own teammates. But what shocked Judge most wasn't the obvious criminal activity happening in his gym. It was seeing Dwayne Johnson walk into the room and sit down at the head of the table. "Gentlemen," The Rock said in a voice completely different from his usual warm demeanor, "let's discuss this month's numbers. The athlete cover stories are working perfectly. No one suspects that a gym membership could launder this much money." Judge's hands trembled as he recorded everything on his phone. What he was witnessing would either destroy his career and reputation or force him to make the most dangerous decision of his life. The man he'd trusted as a partner and friend was about to become either his greatest ally or his most dangerous enemy. For 3 sleepless nights, Aaron Judge wrestled with what he had witnessed. Every time he looked at Dwayne Johnson's motivational posts on social media or remembered their friendly conversations about training techniques, the image of The Rock calmly coordinating a money laundering operation haunted him. What Judge didn't know was that his former partner was equally tormented, but for entirely different reasons. The truth was more complex than Judge could have imagined. The Rock hadn't willingly entered into a criminal partnership. He had been systematically manipulated and blackmailed into participation. What had started as a legitimate business investment had become a nightmare when his silent partner, Vincent Torino, revealed the gym's true purpose and threatened to destroy both their reputations if they didn't cooperate. On Thursday morning, Judge made his decision. Instead of going to the FBI or the media, he chose a more direct approach. Using his key card, he entered Peak Performance and waited in The Rock's private office, determined to confront the man he had once considered a friend. When The Rock arrived at 9 a.m. for their scheduled facility walkthrough, He found Judge sitting calmly behind his desk, the secretly recorded video playing on the laptop screen. "We need to talk," Judge said quietly, his voice carrying a mixture of disappointment and steel. The Rock's face went through a series of emotions: shock, fear, resignation, and finally, something that looked like relief. He closed the office door and sat down across from his partner. What The Rock told Judge next would transform their relationship from a bitter confrontation into the most dangerous alliance of their lives. "Aaron, I know how this looks," The Rock began, his voice stripped of its usual confidence. "But I've been trapped in this situation for 8 months. Torino has photos, financial records, manufactured evidence that would destroy both of us if this gets out. I've been trying to find a way out without destroying everyone involved." Judge studied his partner's face, looking for signs of deception. What he saw instead was genuine anguish from a man who had built his entire brand on positivity and integrity, now forced into a situation that violated everything he stood for. "Why didn't you come to me when this started?" Judge asked. "Because I was trying to protect you. I thought I could handle it myself, find a way to shut it down without involving you. But Torino's operation is bigger than just our gym. He's using athlete partnerships across the city, boxing gyms, basketball training facilities, even some restaurants owned by retired players." The scope of what The Rock was describing made Judge realize they weren't just dealing with a local scam, but a sophisticated network that had infiltrated the entire Los Angeles sports community. "So, what do we do now?" Judge asked, his anger beginning to transform into determination. The Rock leaned forward, and for the first time in months, his expression showed a hint of his old confidence. "We do what we do best, brother. We fight back." What they didn't know was that Vincent Torino had been monitoring their conversation through hidden cameras, and their partnership was about to face its most dangerous test yet.
12 hours after their confrontation, Aaron Judge and Dwayne Johnson sat in a secure FBI field office in downtown Los Angeles, sharing everything they knew with Special Agent Maria Santos. The decision to cooperate with federal authorities hadn't been easy, but what they discovered about Vincent Torino's operation had convinced them that they were in far deeper than either had imagined. "Gentlemen," Agent Santos said, spreading files across the conference table, "you've stumbled into a 3-year investigation. Torino's network has laundered over $50 million through sports-related businesses. Your gym was just the newest addition to his empire." The Rock stared at the photographs of other compromised facilities. "All these athletes, they have no idea." "Most are completely innocent," Santos confirmed. "Torino specifically targets high-profile partnerships because celebrity involvement provides perfect cover. Who would suspect that LeBron James's favorite training facility or a restaurant owned by a retired quarterback could be fronts for money laundering?" What Agent Santos proposed next would require both men to risk everything they had built in their careers. "We need you to continue operating as if nothing has changed," she explained. "Wear recording devices, document transactions, help us gather evidence on the entire network. But I have to warn you, if Torino discovers you're cooperating with us, you'll be in serious physical danger." Judge and The Rock exchanged glances. Both men had faced high-pressure situations throughout their careers, but this was different. What they were being asked to do went far beyond anything they had experienced in sports or entertainment. "How long?" The Rock asked. 6 weeks, maybe 8. We need comprehensive evidence to ensure convictions stick." For the next 2 months, Judge and The Rock lived double lives. During the day, they maintained their public personas. Judge continued his off-season training, while The Rock promoted his latest movie projects. But at night, they gathered evidence that would eventually bring down one of the West Coast's most sophisticated criminal networks. The breaking point came when Torino announced plans to expand the operation nationally, using Judge's celebrity status to open facilities in New York and Texas. The scope of the proposed expansion made it clear that walking away was no longer an option. On a cold February morning, FBI agents simultaneously raided 12 locations across Los Angeles. Judge and The Rock watched from a safe house as peak performance was swarmed by federal investigators. Within hours, Vincent Torino and 17 associates were in custody. What emerged from the investigation shocked even the FBI. The network had been operating for over 5 years, using celebrity partnerships to launder money for everything from drug trafficking to international arms dealing. 6 months later, Judge and The Rock reopened Peak Performance as a legitimate training facility, donating all profits to charities supporting crime victims. Their partnership, forged in deception but strengthened through danger, had evolved into something neither man had expected: a friendship built on trust, courage, and the shared experience of doing the right thing when everything was at stake. The gym that had almost destroyed their reputations became a symbol of redemption, proving that even the most successful people sometimes need partners who will stand with them when the stakes are highest.
Sometimes, the most dangerous partnerships teach us the most about trust and loyalty. When Aaron Judge and Dwayne Johnson discovered their business venture was built on lies, they chose courage over self-preservation and proved that real strength comes from doing what's right. If this story amazed you, don't forget to like and subscribe to The Baseball Story for more incredible tales from the diamond. What other secrets might be hiding behind our favorite celebrities' business deals?